we have gone from this to this. Oh yes, a quick recap. Last week, internal and external walls came down. Steel was added. The house was propped up. Floors came up. It was proper demolition. And I'm very excited because in this week's renovation vlog, the doors are coming. So this is going to be, for me, the biggest thing of this project is the doors that are going in. So let's see what happens in week 2 of this renovation journey. It's Monday morning. The tunes are banging on the radio. I think I'll get done for copyright. It's Queen. I have to stop that. Hey Google, stop. One more sleep till the doors come. Hey, I said Google, stop. Even the radio is excited. One more sleep. I did not sleep last night. In the last video, people were saying, oh my God, you have been so lucky with the weather, because could you imagine if it rained? It actually did last week. One of the days, they actually just took up the floor while it was raining. But one of the days last week, I think it was the Wednesday, it torrentially downpoured for like 2 hours, and then it was fine, because that's Ireland. All seasons in one day. It is Monday morning. There was wind last night. Oh my God, so windy. Not much is actually happening today. I'm going to move stuff around. I need to take my fridge out because the tiles need to come up. I'm going to move my kitchen chair and table over here to free up over there. Because the builders are going to level that and level the hallway. But this afternoon, they're just coming back to pop out the window for tomorrow. And then tomorrow is the big day. And does anyone else get a bit like, I'm like, oh, I hope they don't forget. But like, they're not going to. I messaged the door people on Friday. And I was like, just confirming we're all good my end for Tuesday. And he's like, yeah. But I'm like, what time Tuesday? I need to know the plan. Another thing that stresses me out with the whole renovation thing is cars being everywhere. My neighbours are so good. But I did like tell them, listen, if anybody is in your way, just ring me straight away and I'll get them to move the car. But apparently the doors come on a lorry. I don't know if a lorry can get down my road, but obviously these people are pros. They put doors and windows in houses every single day. They've been down every narrow street imaginable. So this is just me overthinking. But are you the same? Are you a overthinker? Anyway, I will show you actually some sexy plugs. Sexy plugs. I do have sexy plugs and switches. They're the brass switches, regular viewers. Remember I changed the ones with the little toggle on them? They will be the switches, but I got sexy plugs to match. I'm not going to put them in yet until after the plaster, because I'm sure they'll get, like, they're like a little final touch. I have had caffeine, which is why I'm like sleep deprived from the noise of the wind. I kept thinking these things were going to come in last night. Those things. Hang on. Yeah, I kept thinking these were going to blow in last night. Logically, I was like, I know that's not going to happen, but the wind was like boom, 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 boom. Okay. I need to channel my sleep-deprived, caffeine, anxious, excited energy. One more sleep. I now understand when my nephew and niece count down sleeps until things. Because last night I was like, 2 more sleeps. And I was like, I'm not 10. But my inner child is like, 1 more sleep. Because even when we go on holidays, my niece and nephew, it's like, how many sleeps until we go away? And then obviously Christmas. But 1 more sleep. Touch wood, all going to plan. Okay, let's move stuff. Why don't you just leave the fridge? Let the builders lift it out. It will take them 2 seconds to your 10 minutes of maneuvering. But behind here, I need to assess the dusty damage because I have not looked behind this fridge since it went in. And there could be, because it's next to the washing machine, there could be a dirty sock. There could be prehistoric knickers in here. I do not know what's behind here and I cannot take any risks. I cannot have builders find crusty socks behind my fridge. So we need to have a little look to see what's in here. How did I do this the last time? I purposely bought this fridge so it fits. But, oh, did I make any changes since? On today's episode of We Listen and We Don't Judge, this is why I wanted to move the fridge before the builders, because this is not renovation dust. So the tile is going to come up here. There is a lot of CDs, the cats love playing with them. You find them under the sofa as well. What is that? That looks like something, I don't know. Yeah, so we're going to give this a clean. There's a knob. How does a knob get in here? So this is absolutely shocking. And I cannot let the builders see this. And I'm sure down here is just as bad where the washing machine is. But I mean, I've kept, the top isn't too untidy, but I'm going to quickly blitz this and move everything out. So then I am going to try and get one load of washing done. I need to do me whites. So I might do a quick wash as I'm cleaning. I'll have a look at, see there's pipe work, but I think it's just the pipe going into the, the waste pipe. Yeah, this is my dirty little secret. Could not tell you the last time. Actually, the last time I cleaned here was when the old fridge went out and the new fridge went in, which I think was 2020. So it's been 5 years since I've cleaned in here. Now, obviously not this. This is renovation dust. This is 5 years of dirt. So that's my dirty little secret. Now tell me this, and tell me no lies. When was the last time you looked behind your fridge? Are you like me? You just look when it's broken or if something rolls under there that you need. Make me feel better for myself. Washing machines and fridges. I am not one of them people who takes them out every 6 months and has a little dusting and sticks it back in. Nope. If I don't see the dirt, it's not there. Now, while we're here, I want to talk grout. So see, this isn't dirt. So see this? That's not actually dirty. That is grey grout. And if you look back on really old videos on the channel, my whole floor was this tile, but with this really dark grout. Now I have just wiped it down. I painted, well, it's like a paint. You can see in here, I didn't do in there. There's more pieces of it there. So I used a grout. It's like a paint. I don't recommend using paint on tiles. I'm not a fan of it. And doing this, it's like a grout paint. Got it off Amazon. I recommend it for a short-term thing, but if you want lighter grout, maybe go down the route of regrouting it. But yeah, when I had it this colour, my floor just always looked dirty. So whoever originally put this floor down used a grey grout. So, but yeah, it obviously looks much better with the lighter colour. It was a nightmare because you can see it would chip. So if it got too much moisture, which tiles naturally do, it would just chip. So I used to have to, probably every 6 months, I used to have to go around and top up the areas where it had chipped. And it was always where there was moisture. So it was around there where the kettle was, the cooker, And then in the bathroom where the basin, so like, you know, when you'd have splashes off your hands, and around the toilet seat as well. So I don't recommend painting the grout if it's a really short-term solution. But in my case, it wasn't a short-term solution. I did that like 5 years ago, probably more than 5 years ago. And my intention at the time was to change the floor. But here we are, 2025. I'm only changing the floor now. The lighter coloured like grout itself was fine. It was the chipping of it. And you have to be careful. Like, I use bleach on the floors sometimes, especially if the cats have had an accident. Like, I'll remove them and then clean it up, let it dry, wipe it down. So yeah, if you use any harsh cleaners, it will make that grout paint lift. Someone actually asked me that in the last video about what I had used on it and if I recommend it. So I hope you do see this video. But that's my kind of thing, short-term thing, and I do not recommend painting floor tiles. I know it was really, really popular, and it still is. You see lots of people doing like budget makeovers and they're painting tiles. And yes, it looks amazing in the video, but I'm always like, come back in a few years. Like, you can get really good stuff like epoxy stuff and resin and all of that. But my thing is, by the time you do all of that, you could have just tiled it, you know? Yeah, you could have just tiled it. So sometimes things are budget in the moment, but in the long term, they give you more of a headache. And to me, painting tiles. Remember back in like 2016, 2017, that was the big thing. Like, I will paint anything, but I always say when it comes to tiles, backsplash or floor, no bueno, don't do it. You'll just give yourself heartache. So just, yeah, that's all I did was the grout, was painting that, and even that gave me a heartache, and I'm delighted to see the back of them tiles. That's the last bit of tiling that has to come up. So my little corner doesn't look too bad. I don't want this video to be too waffly, but another thing it's just a common question that gets asked is washing machines and laundry rooms. So if you have an older home in Ireland, some of the newer homes are being built with special like laundry rooms, but we don't have them as standard. You will notice, I'm going to flip you around, in most homes in Ireland and the UK, like one of these will be where your washing machine is. So sometimes people have their washing machine or their dishwasher in like one of these cabinets. So it's quite common to come in and you'll actually just see the washing machine in the kitchen. We don't have basements. There's nothing underneath us. Our homes are smaller. We don't have basements. Newer homes and fancy homes have lovely, sexy laundry nooks and boot rooms and mud rooms. But if you have an older house, you're not going to have that. You're going to have a washing machine in the kitchen. And we don't, it's probably a plumbing thing, but I have had comments being like, why don't we have our washing machines upstairs where the bedrooms are? And that does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? That makes sense to have washing machines where the bedrooms are, because that's where all your clothes and dirty laundry is. But I'm going to assume it's possibly a piping thing, because the waste pipe would have to go up, and it's just a design thing. We don't have. You would have to be very posh now in Ireland to. And I don't think an Irish person would take offence by being called posh if they had a washing machine upstairs, because they'd be like, yeah, that is posh. I don't know anybody in Ireland who has a washing machine upstairs. If you do have a washing machine upstairs and you're in Ireland, let yourself be known in the comment section. Say hello. Did you modify that yourself? I think you did. I mean, obviously like apartments and stuff would have, you know, their washing machine, but again, a lot of apartments would have their washing machine where the kitchen is. Now, another thing, if you're new here, I have the world's tiniest nook, so my washing machine is in there. Doesn't bother me. People are mad to have huge laundry areas, and I totally get that, because I know some people who, like Siobhan, she does washing. Now, she has actually a tiny laundry nook, but it's in the kitchen, but it has a door, and she has space for a washing machine and a dryer beside each other and a counter on top. But it's not like a boot room or anything. Now, Siobhan does an awful lot of washing, so I could see why she would get excited over having a designated area. So I'm I'm here 13 years in the house and that little nook has never bothered me. But one thing I was thinking is, I'm going to flip you. It is not a job for now because I only bought a new boiler 3 or 4 years ago. But in this hot press, there's a water tank. And if you change your heating system to, what's it called? Is it a heat pump? A heat pump. So if you upgrade your heating system to a heat pump, you remove the large water tank that's there. You still have your tank upstairs. I'm not sure how it works, but I have chatted to people who got the water tank removed and then their hot press. And again, people ask, what's a hot press? A hot press is a hot press. You're going to have to Google that or this video will be too long. Yes, the hot press is where we put our linen and stuff, but it's hot because the pipes are in there and the water tank, the downstairs one, is there and it heats up. I think that's why we call it a hot press. I think if I was to upgrade my heating system, that would free up the hot press and I could actually put my washing machine in that little nook where the hot press once was, because it's right next to the bathroom where there is, a waste pipe that I could join onto, I'm assuming, because my kitchen washing machine joins onto the waste pipe for the sink, I think. So that is an option. It's not something I plan to do anytime soon because like that, I only got a new boiler 4 years ago. But it is an option there if down the line there is a solution for that. Another thing people were saying was taking down opening up this. So the stairs are above this wall. And if you saw last week's video, you would have seen the amount of steel that went into the kitchen from just wanting to take down that wall and that wall. So, no. But also, if you look in here, I'll flip you around. So, there's the stairs. So, it comes down right here. So, I'd say there's only a little triangle there of space because the stairs are behind it. So, I have a tiny washing machine that fits in here. So, it's fine. Yeah, obviously it needs a bit of a tidy, but listen, not dreadful. I hope that answers any questions. And obviously, please feel free to skip ahead the video to if you want to see the doors and whatever. I'm just kind of answering questions as I think of it from things that pop up in the comment section. You know what? I love it though, because I love when I go on holidays and if I'm in Spain or even when I was in Turkey in August, I love seeing how things are different in different places and houses. I love it. So yeah, have an open mind. I sometimes get comments that are a bit angry being why do you do it that way? And it's culture. It is how it is. I do think newer homes that are being built now have the fancy stuff. So they have places, they have rooms for washing machines. But most of the population will just have the washing machine in the kitchen. I don't mind. See, the washing machine in the kitchen means you're closer to the garden to hang it out to dry. And that's another thing. Dryers. I grew up, I did not have a clothes dryer. I did not have a dishwasher. I still don't have a dishwasher. And I don't have a clothes dryer. And you can't miss what you've never had. You'll see behind me, me little clothes donkey here. I air dry and use the radiators in winter, but I still air dry. They're two luxuries I've never had and I don't miss them because I've never had them. If I'm doing the dishes, it's quicker to just wash them by hand. I'm sure a dishwasher is handy if you've got a big family, but there was 5 of us in my family and everything was done by hand. I think I'd rather a dishwasher over a clothes dryer. I can't see myself using the clothes dryer as much, but I would like a dishwasher. But again, I'm happy with me fairy washing up liquid and me sponge. Now, before I move my table and chairs over, so you might remember this table and chairs was kind of over here, but there was a big wall down the middle, so you could not have four people sitting around it with like nothing around them, like to sit comfortably. And I just wanted to show you, like, in terms of space, while I've taken down a wall, it looks big on camera, but you have your kitchen here, and obviously this fridge is not going to be here, but there will be a radiator on this wall. So you could get like a tiny little cute reclaimed, not a big island, but like a small one. But you have the table and chairs, and then over here I have space for a little nook. But in terms of like spacing, you could very quickly clutter this up with too much furniture. Like, it's not, I think sometimes taking down the wall, yes, you will have more space, but it's not like an extension where I have added on inches. It's going to feel much bigger tomorrow though, because you're obviously going to have the doors in. But in terms of like furniture, because I had a couple of questions being like, what are you going to do with this space? So I am going to keep my table and chairs for now anyway. I mean, you could get like a longer bench one. I really like the round table. Possibly something small here, bearing in mind the fridge won't be here. And then I do have an idea for this nook. Here. And I'm going to keep that idea. I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest on that one, because sometimes when I share an idea, I get a lot of, oh no, don't do that, or do this instead. And it can be kind of like, it is overwhelming when you get lots of opinions, even though I do ask for opinions. But sometimes it can get overwhelming. So I'm not going to say what I'm going to do with this nook just yet, because I need to go to the salvage yard to see if I was having a look on adverts last night. It does involve getting something secondhand. And I would like a little, where I'm standing is where my view will be, like right out to the garden. But still, the kitchen table and chairs is like right there. So I have to be careful not to clutter it up with furniture. Anyway, I'm going to continue moving this over so that the leveling can be done here. Myself and Björg forgot to do sexy plug. That rhymed. Okay. I got some sexy plugs. So hang on, this is gonna sound. Would you like to show the sexy plug? I got these to match. Yeah, they match. Everything nowadays is a USB cord. Have you noticed that? And obviously my house being older, it's just your good old 3-pin socket plug. So when I was looking for brass plugs to match the brass switches, I was like, I'm getting the ones that have the USB things in them. So I got these from Westco, which is where I got the switches. And these are antique brass, but I'm not into black. But I did go for the black plug. Björg, what are you doing? Sorry, Björg is trying to get in the box. Yeah, I had to, they did have ones that had white in them. They should do cream, but it didn't look, I don't know. So I just went for black. I don't like black in decor, but they're just plugs. They're just plugs. You're probably not going to notice it when something is plugged in, but it has the little USB thingy, because the amount of things that come with no plug nowadays, and it's just the little thing. So I'm going to leave all of this until the end. And I do have the switches, but the switches are in the room of doom. And the room of doom, we will find them when I need to find them. So I got actually enough plugs for, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. And I also want to get 2 for the living room as well. So I have 2, well, I actually have 3, but one of them is behind the cabinet units. So yeah, if you are struggling with all of the USB thingies, if you're like me, you can upgrade your plug. Now, it is pricey if you're changing all of your plugs, but you can, I think this was 30 quid with the VAT, or maybe without the VAT, but you can get white ones that just have the USB thing on them, and they're cheaper if you need to. I recommend upgrading one of the plugs to have a USB thingy, because I have one here. See all of these, I have these like knocking about the house because the amount of things that just come with no thing. So you have to buy the plug. Why is that nowadays? Nowadays, everything costs more and you get less. That's what I've noticed. Good old capitalism and inflation. Now you can obviously get sexier plugs, but for the price point of them and how many I need, like you can go on to, like there's UK websites that have really fancy antique brass ones, but the thing is there's going to be the customs charge on it as well, and I need to change numerous amounts. So, and again, it is just a plug, but it's the same one as the switch. I just got a phone call. So this has been my last update today. So I have my window overnight because my builder rang to say the doors are coming between 8 and 10 in the morning. It takes them a while to set up. So while they're setting up, my builder is going to remove the kitchen window. So this kitchen window that Björg is going out will be the last time Björg is going out. So they're going to remove this in the morning because it'll only take my builder like an hour or whatever. But because, I don't know if you can tell, well, it's raining now, but it's been really, really stormy, and they were like, we don't want to leave you with a wooden board with the weather being so bad. They also didn't anticipate, actually none of us kind of anticipated the stormy weather, but these are solid. I mean, the wind hasn't blown these. So Björg, this is the last few hours of your window, and then the next time, Björg will be delighted because she's going to have a French window. You're going to see it in a few minutes, and it will open out this way. Yes. So you'll have a bigger opening to go out. So yeah, tomorrow is when things all kick off. So me and Björg are going to enjoy the last few hours of peace and get another wash on, getting all of the washing done. Washing done, but can't get it dried. So yeah, see you in the morning when all of this will be gone and we will have doors and windows. So I am anxiously waiting I'm like looking at every truck coming down. Yeah, every time I hear a car, I'm like, it's the doors. It's not the doors. So my builder was here first thing, took out the window. So the window is ready to be changed. And the doors was down for like any time between 8 and 10. It's 10:05. Where are you? My doors are probably stuck on the M50, knowing the traffic in Dublin. So I am literally sitting here on any car that comes down. Also, the road is quiet because it's midweek. Everybody has gone to work. The postman has already been. So there's like, you can hear a pin drop on the road. And every time I hear something, I'm like, it's the doors. It's the doors. I have someone coming to the house with a ban. I have to tell them to check for a cat before they leave, because Bon gets into people's vans in the back, and touch wood, he has never gone off, but I need to put his, I think he's settling down now. I need to put his air tag on, just in case he does go on a little window delivery. If you wondered how these doors arrived, they arrived on the back of a lorry strapped in. These came from a warehouse or a yard in Tala. Now, they didn't have too far to go, but I was like, how did they not get damaged on the way? There was no bubble wrap on them, nothing. So they were perfect. And the chap was like, yeah, I deliver these every day. He then used a crane to lift it off and put it in my driveway. And I was worried about, like, what if someone steals them? And he's like, well, they would need a crane too. My doors then sat in the driveway for about an hour, and I was just so happy that it wasn't windy like it was the day before, because my nerves will be gone on. My nails would be bitten thinking that these were going to blow over and smash. Now they did come on like a sturdy pallet and they were drilled in, but still the overthinker in me was overthinking. Of course the cats had to have a little investigation and see what these were before they got installed in the kitchen. Okay, my sexy doors are sitting out in the driveway. I had such a lovely delivery man and he was joking. So I don't live in a posh area. I live in a really nice area, but not snobby. We're all normal, down to earth people. And he was saying he was delivering doors over somewhere really fancy. And how like they're so, could have been overgeneralized, but he was like, they give out like where you park here, and like if someone does their house there, someone else does this. And I'm like, I'm so glad I don't live in an area where you have to like keep up with the Joneses. Anyway, I now have to wait for the fitters to come, and thank God I am so lucky that the weather is like this, because I am totally exposed and every cat in the neighborhood is in here, including my own. So I have fresh air and fresh air. Here is the first look. The guys have literally just finished, and I'm going to give the doors a clean. Oh, here's Toffee to have a little look. I love what you've done with the place. I will clean these, and we have the window over here. Now, there was a bit of mess made today, so I need to clean all of this. So the dust was back, but not as bad as last week. So the window is in, and so are the doors. And as I'm cleaning these, I will have the chats and just explain a bit more about them and why I pick these over other ones. And yeah, there's not too much, just a couple of few handprints. And yeah, I'm going to cover them because they'll need to be sheeted up, and I want to show you them nice and tidy and pretty. So today is actually a grey day, and this is what the lighting is like. So yeah, you can see the sky, pretty grey. So I'll try and insert a shot when it's sunny, because I can only imagine the sunlight that is going to come in once it's sunny. Let's talk about doors and why I picked this particular style, the door overwhelm, and where I got them from. Picking doors can be really overwhelming because when you start to go looking for them, even though you might have something in mind, all of a sudden you're bombarded with bifolds, sliding doors, French doors, just a big pane of glass if you wanted. There is so many options, which is great, but what can happen is decision fatigue. And also when you ask for other people's opinions, you can kind of be swayed for something that you might not actually want for yourself. So I knew, because my house is a dormer bungalow / cottage, the style of my home and decor, I always wanted a French door and a window to match it in this room. Now when I did go to the showrooms and I saw the big glass panels, I was like, oh, this would be lovely, especially with my garden. But I'm really glad that I stuck to my guns. So the reason why, and you might be thinking, why didn't you do more glass? Because especially when you see how much light when the whole back wall was open. So the reason why I did a half panel is because for 4 to 5 months of the year, here in Ireland, the garden doesn't always look good. So from the end of October until mid-February to March, when the spring bulbs come up, my garden doesn't look too exciting, and I didn't want that to be the feature for almost half of the year. I do have some evergreen stuff in the garden, but there is pockets of time when it's in a transitional phase and it doesn't look nice. So I wanted the doors to give you glimpses out into the garden, but it wasn't turning the garden into like the main feature. When I was researching on where to purchase my doors, there was 3 places that kept popping up. So one of them was Fairco, the other one was Carlson, and the other one was Rationale windows and doors. Now there was other door ones that were popping up. You've got Keen windows, because I needed something custom kind of made, and I wanted this traditional style where I could have the little bars. I think they're called mullions, is it? I call them the little crittle bars, and I wanted them to like match up. So you'll notice that the bar in the window matches with the bar in the door, so everything is like custom. And I was able to do this with Carlson, so I went with them in the end, and everything in this project I am paying for. I am not working with any of the brands or my builder. I am paying them from my own money. The reason why I went with Carlson was because their customer service was really good. Rationale windows, I don't think they wanted me as a customer. I found it really hard to try and make an appointment, and I ended up just giving up, and they are slightly more expensive. So out of the three that kind of did the custom stuff, I went with Carlson, and I ordered these back in July, and they took slightly longer than usual to be made because there was like builders holidays and the factory had holidays, I think like the end of July, start of August. That's why there was a little bit of a delay on the doors, but that was fine because it suited the timing with my builder. Now, another thing as well to why I didn't go for like more glass. So this room is southwest facing. So it gets sunlight in the peak of summer from like 10:30 until about 6 in the evening. So it gets sun for most of the day, and I'm anticipating this room being a little bit warmer because it was before versus the front of my house because of the sun coming in. So I didn't want to have this big sheet of glass and then it kind of becomes a greenhouse, because we already have a greenhouse in the garden. I did have a slight moment of, why didn't I get bifolds? Because I was typical looking on Instagram, and there was some fancy hotel and they had doors like mine and they pushed them to one side and it looked beautiful. And I did say it to my builder. I was like, I think I regret not getting bifolds. And he says the bifolds currently have a lot of issues with them, and he says that we don't stand over them, we don't insure them or put a warranty on them or whatever. He was like, we have gone in to fix a lot of bifold jobs, and so there is some issues at the minute with some of the types of bifolds. So the ones that don't give you a hassle cost a fortune. And also when I was in Carlson, and he said if you were doing bifold on these, it would be double the price. I think weigh up everything for yourself, and my best tip is when you're in the showrooms, everything looks like wow and big and shiny, but do try and be realistic in your home and think of, right, if I get a big wall of glass, am I going to have to spend a load of money on my garden so that it looks decent for most of the year? Also, when it comes to cleaning as well, if you have like pets and kids, I do know that there is going to be more cleaning with these doors versus the window that was here and the kitchen door. Now, when it comes to the colour, on camera, when I'm looking at this as I'm editing, it looks like the inside is grey. It's actually cream. I think it's the lighting in the room, and because it's quite grey today when I was filming this. So the inside is actually cream, and then on the outside, the colour is called pebble grey. But to me and to the guy in the showroom, he was like, it's sage green. He's like, I don't know why they call it pebble grey. And I was like, me too, because this looks like sage green. There was no extra cost to do 2 different colours, because initially I was like, yeah, cream inside out and I'll paint the wall to match. Yeah. And he's like, you can get the green if you want. And I was like, ooh. And he's like, it doesn't cost any more. Now for the materials. So the inside of the doors is wood, but the outside is aluminium. So it's called aluclad. So it means the outside is like UV protected, it's metal, it will withstand the harsh Irish mouldy damp winters. And then the inside feels a bit more vintagey because they are wooden on the inside. You can also customize these, so you can get triple glaze or you can get double glaze, whatever suits you. I did visit a lot of door places and window places, and I wanted a sash window above the sink, but oh my god, the sash windows were wooden So they weren't alu-clad, and there was like different pulley systems on them, and they were crazy expensive. So that is why my window is a French window and opens out at the center. And that's because I could have gotten a sash, but it would have looked different to the doors. Like they wouldn't have matched the way the window and the door looks like, you know, they're from the same family. So sash windows were very, very quickly out of the budget. Now I do think you can get cheaper sash windows, the PVC ones, but Carlson don't do the PVC. It is the wood ones and the expensive ones. So sash windows were out of the question. Maybe for the front of the house one day, if I win the lotto. Okay, we are not crying in this YouTube video. If I talk too much, I will. I am. No, swallow the tear. I'm not crying because I don't like them. I'm crying because, like, I didn't think I could make this happen. So, yeah, all that, like, hard work, saving, organising everything. I know I didn't drill the holes to make it happen, but I just feel like, stop it. I feel like we did it, almost. I know the rest of the house, it's still a building site. We have to do plastering. Well, not we. Plastering, radiators, electrics, floor. There is no floor. The floor has to finish being levelling. We're still a bit away from trinkets, decorating, but they're in. So it's exactly what I wanted, and it's exactly what was on the vision board. I don't believe in manifestation. I believe in setting a goal and taking actions, i.e. working hard to achieve it. But that was on the goal, and I think it looks beautiful. And I know the garden looks a bit at the minute, but once it's cleaned up and bins are moved, and yeah, but let's just enjoy it for this moment. I have to work for the rest of the week. That's probably why I'm crying. I have to end this video here. I will document the progress of everything else that goes on. It'll be more tidying up things like the plaster and stuff. I will document that, and that will be in the next video. I have to get ready for painting and then the flooring and then everything, but I'm not here for the next few days because I have to work. So I need a cup of tea. I actually think I need a few cups of tea. If you are new, look, I can open my window and be like, ta-da, even though I can't reach the window. Actually, I need to close the window. If you're new, you can check out the last couple of videos. There was planning videos, there's a DIY diary playlist, and the future video. So do subscribe. It is free, supports the channel, and say hello in the comment section. And for my regular viewers, stop crying. Stop crying. I'll see you in the next one. Cheeky thumbs up.